Hello everybody, welcome to another episode! Today we're doing a story video and we're answering the questions. What habit has given you astronomical benefits in your life? Originally by Traditional Kiwi 1033. Let's get to it. First by Ask Keanu Reeves, I'll add to this. Something that helped me was opening a savings account with a different financial institution than the one I use for my everyday checking. This made savings feel properly separate from my normal spending money, and also took away my ability to instantly move money from savings back into checking for an emergency that wasn't really one. Velocity99 adds, living below my means. I'm glad to see many support this idea. I like the other comments about passive savings, which is part of the way to be successful living below your means. More so, I see this as the resistance to max everything out to what calculations say you can afford. Many end up housing, rent, paid poor, car poor, student loan poor. Just because the bank is willing to give you money, it doesn't mean that you can take it all and still live the other aspects of your life. You often have to decide which part you want to be poor in. Pause and reflect adds jobs. This happened to us. I was standing in line with my husband to go into a museum once, and I struck up a friendly conversation with an older German couple next to us. We cracked a few jokes, just shooting the shit waiting for the place to open. The guy mentioned that he was down where we were for vacation and business, since he was recruiting engineers in the area for his company. My husband is exactly the type of engineer he was looking for, and had been having trouble finding work in our area. They chatted interview stuff while we were in line, exchanged contact info, and my husband was hired within the week. That friendly conversation with strangers changed our lives. Always chat with people. You really never know. Networking is something that is so important. Soylent Blue adds, I have a friend who does this. She can talk to anyone in any situation, and I'm envious and also introverted and filled with social anxiety, and unable to put this into practice. I mean, also, for a year, I haven't left the house except to go grocery shopping, so... Not exactly a stranger, see Potential 89 adds, but I ran into a former professor at a bar, like literally. I spilled my wine on him. Decided to actually force conversation, even though I wanted to run and hide after chatting with him and his wife, and found out that he had left the university and was working somewhere else and needed employees, and was hired because he already knew me and my work ethic. Ha. I am GG222 adds, probably the best I've ever felt was when I was in between jobs but riding a bike every day. Started around 10 to 20 miles, then I got to the point of riding 25 plus miles a day. I hit half century twice, which was such a great feeling. But I was eating properly, getting back to proper weight, as I'm underweight usually, weed, food suppression, inactivity, sleeping great near every single night. I had to give the bike back to its owner, but I brought my own winter of CL. I'm just itching for a nicer weather to really start so I can start riding again. Biking every day. I've heard great things about biking every day. Going on a walk every day, biking every day, eating a mango every day, petting a cat every day. These are all wonderful, amazing, fulfilling things. Acceptable Medicine 2 adds this. I can't believe I spent so many years of my life not flossing and thinking it was annoying. Then one night I had pizza for dinner and could feel that there was food in my teeth. I decided to floss and I was a little buzzed and pulled the mirror towards me so I could really see. The amount of food that came out from between my teeth, I was shocked and slightly mortified. I've flossed every single night since then, years later at this point. Now, I honestly don't think I could fall asleep without doing it. Just knowing there was food stuck. Ugh. Bonehead Bib adds, flossing has extremely good results for the rest of your life. Flossing is correlated with all kinds of good outcomes. There is no weak evidence that flossing causes any results, even absence of gingivitis or cavities. It surprised me to learn this, and of course dentists will tell you that it's a fact, but look to the study. And they're extremely poor quality. Doesn't last long enough to find any meaningful results, funded by Big Floss, and basically only conclude that flossing is generally regarded as safe. Basically, they clear the safety requirements, and that's about it. So I'm going to disagree just from personal experience, because I've been in phases in my life where I floss and don't floss, and I have like gingivitis if I don't floss. My gums are more swollen, and I can tell because I can like push on them, and sometimes in certain areas, like in the back or the areas I don't brush as well, it's a bit sensitive and it hurts. When I get in the habit of flossing, at first it really hurts and my gums swell up a lot. But after I've been doing it every day for about a month, my gums change color. They are pinker, they look healthier, they are less swollen, and I get less tooth pain. And I've tested that on myself, and at least in my case, flossing makes a noticeable difference. I'm not going to say flossing takes 10 years out of your life. I'm not going to say that smoking cigarettes and flossing is the same as just doing neither of those things. Absolutely not. I'm not saying flossing is amazing. I'm just saying that in my experience, when I flossed regularly, it had noticeable increases on my mouth health overall. And I have fallen out of that habit, and my mouth reverted to how it was before. And I currently don't floss enough, but it's not because it doesn't do anything. I at least perceive that it is actually quite useful, especially if you don't go to the dentist much and you brush and floss your teeth. You're going to be way better off than somebody who just occasionally brushes their teeth and doesn't floss at all and doesn't go to the dentist. Because when you go to a dentist in like 6 months and they do that cleaning thing, they're like being preventive. They're getting rid of stuff that's going to cause damage to you. And when you floss, you lower the rate that stuff accumulates. So if you're not flossing, but you're still going to the dentist every 6 months, it doesn't matter as much for that stuff, right? Because they're still going to clean your teeth and get rid of that accumulation stuff. But that's when they have to really like scrape that shit off, right? So I don't think that this comment's like super true. Like, yeah, it is true that Big Floss has a lot of interest in claiming there's very grand health benefits, like it adds 10 years to your life and shit like that. And I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that's true. But I'm also not saying that it's not worth doing. It's definitely worth doing, and it's going to hurt a little bit probably at first, but then once you get used to it, your mouth really will change. Your gums do get more pink, and you have less inflamed gums. These are good things. It's good, especially if you're suffering from something else. Your body only has a finite amount of resources. And if you also have mouth problems and you're not getting exercise and you're sick for whatever reason, your body's putting resources into the problems in your mouth and the inflammation and the irritation in your mouth. So when you limit that, you increase the amount of resources your body has available to do the more important things. So it may not seem important to you, but indirectly it actually can be quite important. I'm not going to say flossing is going to change your life, but I am telling you that I believe it's quite a healthy habit, and it's not something that's as healthy as Big Floss wants you to think, but it is absolutely worth having, okay? Moving on. Acceptable Medicine 2 adds, complimenting people. When we were first dating, my now husband told me he'd never met someone who gave compliments as easy as I did, and that it really meant something to him. When I told him he looked nice or did something really well. I hadn't really thought about it before, but once he said it, I became more conscious of the urge to compliment other people, and how it made me feel to do it. I try to do it as often as possible and within reason. Of course, I don't want to just make up stuff that seems disingenuous, but I think paying attention to what drives me to want to compliment someone has taught me a lot about myself. But more than anything else, it just feels so nice. With my loved ones, it feels especially good to see them react to it. But even with strangers or acquaintances, it can really boost my mood to see them light up and say, huh, thanks, in that surprised way. This person sounds amazing! Wow, I want some friends like that. Milk Jake adds, some people decide they don't like a thing and never revisit it or try to dig into it. But when people I love and respect really enjoy something I don't understand, I see it as an opportunity to sort of decode the enjoyment of it. I wanted to know why people like olives so much. There's got to be some culinary context. So I had like 24 different types of olives in Italy, and it changed my take on them. Same with learning the history and context behind abstract impressionism, or whatever else can be challenging at first. So it's rewarding to discover a new love like that. Licentious adds, yeah, philomathy is an underrated trait and is so rarely encouraged in kids. When I tell the kids I know that I study for fun, the looks on their faces are priceless, both hilarious and kind of saddening at the same time. The best thing I've treated myself to this year was a Great Courses Plus membership. I definitely recommend. I like taking courses too, but I don't call taking courses studying. I guess it all depends what it means to you, right? Questionable AI adds, ooh, I so wanted to do that, but I reeled it in and instead am taking an astrophysics course, free, from 2 of the major online universities, and I'm loving every minute of it. Okay, I get a bit lost in the terminology and I have to spend hours doing additional readings via online books and articles, so I get a better handle on the lingo of space and physics, but I manage. Astrophysics is fascinating, but so far out of the 40-year career path I took, if we had been wealthy folks, I swear I would have become an astrophysicist because I could have stayed in university to complete instead of focusing on the make money, secure your life career path that I did. In my defense, over the years, I have created a library of topical areas within my career path and of the 3 fields that have always intrigued me, and bunches of books from the information candy available in others that captured my fancy. I do it because I enjoy it and it energizes me. Good on you for doing the Great Courses Plus. That would be heavenly. Best to you and your explorations and discoveries. Marigold00 adds, learning to read swiftly, with comprehension. It has made my life so much easier. I can find things quickly, learn swiftly, and explain things to others in a glance. As a person who does software implementation and training for a living, I read a lot, and to do it quickly means I can get a lot done in 40 hours, which means I get more free time. Happy Time Hollis adds, stop caring what other people think. Stop trying to make other people like you. Seriously, the only person who has to wake up in your bed tomorrow is you. Make sure that person is who you are making like you. You can do great, amazing things, but only if you're willing to set out on your own journey and do things your way. Caradox Fabricanus adds, I feel like it might be a good idea to clarify what you mean by that. Sometimes you need to know what people think of you. Although I agree that you shouldn't be too desperate to make other people like you. It can help a lot to be the most likable person, as it gives a lot of advantages that you wouldn't expect. Sometimes being well liked and giving off positive vibes has gotten me help that I desperately needed, or a free drink or 2. In conclusion, if you focus on being likable, rather than being liked, it has some really nice outcomes. So being and acting like a good person and being reasonable works wonders on your social life and daily interactions. Silly Power adds, more importantly, what you've done has also reduced the risk of skin cancer considerably. I rarely bothered with sunscreen when I was a teen, and then when I worked on farms during the summer when I was at uni. Fast forward a couple of decades, and 3 years ago I woke up to find blood on my pillow and an open wound on my forehead that would not stop bleeding. And I checked it out. It was cancer. I had an operation to have it removed. The skin doctor I saw said it would have been very likely to be prevented from covering up when I was younger. Worse. Now that I've done that growth, I will get others. It's when, not if. So wear sunscreen! Hey! Getting rid of Brita adds, I had a short-lived tanning phase as a teenager and quit immediately as soon as I saw a small sunspot had developed on my face. Just this tiny patch of mild discoloration. I'm a militant about sunscreen and stay out of the sun as much as possible. It's a running joke in my family that I look like a corpse, but I know I'm saving myself future on Botox and possibly skin cancer. Universal says, creating a normal routine. I used to find it so hard to get up in the morning. I started it because I was really tired of staying in bed all day when I was going through a particularly long low period. I wanted to do something about it. Now I happily get up way earlier, fix myself a cup of green tea, listen to podcasts until I'm finished, and then I do some yoga. Morning times are now my me times. I noticed it makes me way more productive, and even if I do nothing afterwards, I still feel accomplished, like at least I got up and did something right. It's the small things. Action Dense adds, I feel like I want to die for the first 2 hours of every day. If I added exercise to that, I'm pretty sure I'd make that feeling a reality. You do you though. Be sure I'm judging you pettily while watching you jog or whatever from the bus on my way to work. Nerd Central adds, my cousin died of cancer at the age of 10 a few years ago. At the funeral, I had some other cousins between 6 and 8. And so I started telling funny stories about their dad and my other aunts and uncles. Not only were the kids laughing, but several of the aunts and uncles had gathered to listen to keep their minds off of what was going on. Meow haha adds, have you used the tiny in-betweener on your tooth gaps? I brushed and flossed regularly, but my dentist recommended I add those. The first time I used them, it looked like they just unclogged the garbage disposal. How could I have that much left after flossing? I have no idea how gunk gets in there during flossing, but those tiny brushes are phenomenal. I use one for a week, rinsing daily. Tormaline82 says, interdental brushes. I have a couple gaps that are narrow at the top and wider at the bottom. Food gets pushed in when I chew, but it's hard to get it out again, and it would get painful. My dentist told me about interdental brushes, and my teeth are much cleaner and more comfortable now. Devo Niner adds, Sheila Buffer. Didn't Nike coin this phrase probably before he was even born? Either way, I'm actually a big fan of the saying myself, even if it's a bit obvious. The hardest part of doing something is getting started. If you just get at it, chances are you'll stay on the task, even if it's the hard work. There's no better feeling in life than accomplishments. Bullshit! There's no better feeling in life than looking into the eyes of a person you love. Dumb motherfuckers. Huh. Alright, everybody. That's it for this video. If you like this kind of content, please let us know. And do one of the 4 following. Check out another video, comment to this video, like this video, or subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao!